Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to Eagles Nation Live, your go-to source for all things Philadelphia football. I'm your host, bringing you the latest from the gridiron with that signature Philly fire. Tonight, we've got a heartbreaker to unpack. The Eagles' undefeated streak comes crashing down in a stunning collapse against the Denver Broncos. But hold on, folks. Is this just a bump in the road or a sign of deeper issues for our birds? Picture this, leading 17-3, looking like the powerhouse we've come to love, and then, poof, it all unravels in the fourth quarter. If you're an Eagles fan, you're probably still shaking your head, chanting, "Fly Eagles fly," under your breath to cope. Let's dive right in and break it all down, because this one's got layers. First off, the headline from Lincoln Financial Field. The Philadelphia Eagles dropped their first game of the season, falling 21-17 to the Denver Broncos in a game that had everything. Dominant starts, costly mistakes, and a fourth-quarter meltdown that'll have coaches reviewing tape till dawn. The Birds were soaring high, extending their franchise-tying 10-game winning streak and a 12-game home winning streak that felt unbreakable. Remember, folks, the last time Philly tasted defeat at the Link was over a year ago, a narrow 22-21 loss to the Atlanta Falcons on September 16, 2024. But tonight, it was self-inflicted wounds that did them in, more than anything Denver threw their way. Penalties at crunch time, a misfired deep ball, and a defense that suddenly looked vulnerable. It's the kind of loss that stings, but also teaches. Let's rewind to the key moments that flipped this script. The Eagles came out guns blazing, building that 17-3 lead through three quarters. Jalen Hurts was connecting, Saquon Barkley was grinding out yards, and the defense under Vic Fangio was holding firm with that "no explosive plays" mantra. But then, late in the third, came the play everyone's buzzing about, a deep shot from Hurts to A.J. Brown. Brown streaks past Broncos safety Talanoa Hufanga, Hurts launches it downfield, and nothing. The ball sails just out of reach. Post-game, Brown was candid, saying, "From my point of view, we just missed. I didn't think the ball was coming. When I looked up, I didn't see the ball. When I looked back, I didn't see the ball." Ouch. But replay tells a different story. It looks like Brown throttled down a bit, maybe expecting something else, while Hurts put it where he thought his receiver would be. Miscommunication? Sure, but in the heat of the moment, that's the kind of sync-up that championship teams nail every time. And speaking of Hurts, our dual-threat quarterback who's been the heartbeat of this team since taking over, he finished with solid stats, 23 of 38 for 280 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad on paper, but in those final stretches, he couldn't quite rally the troops. When asked about the miscue, Hurts kept it classy as always. "I'll have to really watch the film to be able to assess that." Obviously, that's one that you want to hit in a big moment of the game. That's Jalen for you, accountable, focused, never throwing anyone under the bus. But fans are wondering, is this the same old story of inconsistent halves? Last week, offensive lineman Jordan Mailata called them the good half team, but tonight, we saw the bad one rear its head. Lack of execution, as Hurts put it bluntly, lack of execution. Lack of execution. Complacency set in, and boom, the Broncos pounce. Now, let's talk penalties, because those were the real daggers. With 2:27 left, linebacker Zach Bond's unnecessary roughness penalty after a solid tackle by Andrew Mukuba gifted Denver fresh downs and bled the clock. Earlier, on a crucial 4th and 4, Saquon Barkley's illegal shift wiped out a 20-yard grab by Devonta Smith that would have put us in prime position at the Broncos' 31. Instead, punt city, and a missed chance to seize control while trailing 18-17. These aren't just little flags, they're momentum killers. The offense, already looking a tad unbalanced and sputtering at times, got derailed by discipline lapses. And on defense, Vic Fangio's conservative scheme, that top-down approach to prevent big plays, got exposed. Bo Nix, the Broncos' rookie QB, carved them up for 242 yards and a TD in the fourth alone, including a killer 34-yard strike to Cortland Sutton on 3rd and 15. J.K. Dobbins added 79 rushing yards and a score, turning a 17-3 deficit into an 18-17 lead in just over 5 minutes. It's the Eagles' classic flaw, dominant for stretches, then easing up and becoming their own worst enemy. But hey, let's zoom out for some historical context, because this Eagles team doesn't exist in a vacuum. Philadelphia's got a storied legacy. Think back to the glory days with legends like Reggie White, the Minister of Defense, who terrorized quarterbacks in the 80s and 90s, or Brian Dawkins, Weapon X, embodying that Philly toughness. Donovan McNabb led us to multiple NFC championships in the early 2000s. And who can forget the 2017 Super Bowl miracle? Nick Foles, the Philly special, beating Tom Brady's Patriots 41-33. That was pure magic, folks, with the city erupting in celebrations that shut down Broad Street. Fast forward to now, and we've got a squad loaded with talent. Jalen Hurts, the Heisman finalist turned franchise QB who's rushed for over 3,000 yards in his career. A.J. Brown, the beast of a receiver with back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons. Devonta Smith, the Slim Reaper, who's as clutch as they come. And don't get me started on Jason Kelce, the future Hall of Famer who's the soul of that offensive line. Even if he's retired, his spirit lives on in guys like Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata. Statistically, this loss drops the Eagles to 4-1, still atop the NFC East, that brutal division where rivalries run deep. The Dallas Cowboys, our eternal foes with those star helmets, always bring the drama. The New York Giants, with their history of upsets like that 2007 Super Bowl spoiler against the Pats, and the Washington Commanders, grinding it out. Philly's fan base? Unmatched, passionate, rowdy, filling the link with that iconic Fly Eagles Fly chant that echoes like thunder. Trivia time. Did you know the Eagles were founded in 1933, and they've got 4 NFL championships pre-Super Bowl era? Or that their green jerseys are inspired by the Kelly Green of old, a nod to the city's Irish roots? And pop culture. From Rocky Balboa training montages to Invincible with Mark Wahlberg, based on Vince Papale's true story, Eagles football is woven into Philly's DNA. Diving deeper into analysis, this game's issues highlight ongoing concerns. The offense is talented but tepid at times. Barkley, our big free agent splash from the Giants, has been a beast with over 500 rushing yards already this season, but penalties are nullifying his efforts. Compare that to last year, when the Eagles ranked top 5 in rushing but faltered in the playoffs. Defensively, Fangio's philosophy is sound. They've allowed under 20 points per game so far. But trusting playmakers more, like blitzing with Darius Slay or Quinyon Mitchell in the secondary, could spark things. Expert opinion. If I were chatting with a fictional analyst like Hall of Famer Troy Aikman, he'd say, the Eagles have the pieces, but mental sharpness is key. You can't cruise in the NFL. One lapse, and poof, game's gone. Or imagine interviewing a die-hard fan at the Link. Man, that deep ball miss? Heartbreaking. But we're Philly, we bounce back stronger. Fictional quotes aside, let's hear from the locker room. Suppose we caught up with head coach Nick Sirianni post-game. We're disappointed, no doubt, but this team's resilient. We'll fix the execution, tighten the discipline, and come out firing next week. And from A.J. Brown? Well, he didn't mince words, essentially pointing the finger at the throw without saying it outright. Tensions like that. They can fuel growth or cause rifts. Remember the drama with Terrell Owens back in the day? But this group seems tight-knit. Looking ahead, implications are huge. At 4-1, playoffs are almost a lock. The Eagles have made the postseason 4 straight years under Sirianni. But momentum matters, and this loss could snowball if not addressed. Next up, a tough slate in the NFC East, where every game feels like a war. Predictions. I see them rebounding strong, maybe rattling off another streak. Hurts sharpens those deep balls, defense dials up aggression, and Barkley powers them to 12 wins. But if the split personality persists, dominant halves followed by collapses, a deep run might elude them. Wild card. Keep an eye on the draft. If injuries pile up, they might target secondary help. Folks, that's the wrap on tonight's Eagles drama. A tough pill, but remember, this team's built for comebacks. From the ashes of losses like this, champions rise. So, Eagles fans, keep that faith alive, belt out, fly Eagles fly, and tune in next week as we face off against next opponent. Hit that subscribe button, share with your crew, and let's keep the conversation going in the comments. What do you think? Is this a wake-up call or cause for concern? Until next time, go Birds!